Today is the 8th of December. Again, today is the 8th of December 2022. It is a balmy 79 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 25 degrees Celsius. Right now, it is about 12:45 in the afternoon, and the temperature is almost record high for this time of the year. I believe the record was about 79 degrees back in, as far as I heard, it was back set in 1978. That is over 44 years ago. So here we are setting records almost every year for the last about 10 years for heat, especially heat and extreme weather. And we are beginning to see, unfortunately, the effects of global warming. We have been seeing them for many years now, but they seem to be more consistent with every year that passes, more reliably predictable, and more frequent. That's what it seems. And what seems to be is often the reality. If it feels and looks like it's something, then it is probably something. That is a way for humans to determine whether something is true or not. It may not be as reliable as scientific analysis, but the scientific analysis backs this hunch, backs this prediction, this feeling, what it seems. So there's no problem with the scientific analysis. Most scientists and most experts agree that the globe, the world is warming, that temperatures are on the rise. There's a trend for temperatures to be on the rise. So there's really no argument, for those that believe or that don't believe in climate change. They basically stand on very little. And here we are as a world, for the most part, ignoring the problem, even though we may believe in it, we may see it, we may feel it, we may experience it. Some of us may even experience the catastrophes and the extreme weather, the consequences of the extreme weathers and natural disasters and catastrophes. Yet we do very little. Even the poorest among us could do a lot, I believe, could do plenty, can chip in, take steps to not only prepare for the consequences of climate change, but do a little bit to alleviate the effects, meaning perhaps stop polluting the environment so much, stop using your vehicle so much, stop using energy in the form of air conditioning, heating at your home. If you have less demand of energy, there will be less energy produced. Power companies, they respond to demand, and they will produce more energy as the demand goes up. if they detect a trend on the downward side or a downward trend, they will begin to turn generators off. They will begin to produce less energy, and they will begin to not use as much fossil fuels to produce that energy. That is just the logic behind it. It is logical. However, a lot of people don't see this. Maybe they have not thought about it. Maybe they have, but they just don't choose to do it. Maybe it's too inconvenient for them to not use as much energy. I am guilty of this myself. Me being a true believer and a advocate for, low consumption of energy. So I can appreciate how difficult it may be. Even though I have made some progress in my use of energy, I try to limit it when I can. I have tried over the years to position myself to use less energy. I have plans of finally moving to a place that is completely off the grid, or won't use the grid at the very least, even though it may be connected to the grid. I would like to think that I'm positioning myself to not use the grid and drop off, and hopefully many will see that this is not only necessary, but it is also something that will help you in the long run. It can help you by saving you money. It can help you by changing your lifestyle to where you are more free. You have to work for someone else less. You get to work for yourself and your loved ones more. You get to spend more time in the things you really want to be spending time on, whether it be working on whatever it is that you want to work, a project, a job, a venture, a business idea, a creation, a building, or something that you want to build. Whatever the case may be, you could spend more time doing that, because you will not have to be on the rat race as much, at least as much, and even potentially you may be able to drop out of the rat race. The rat race is nothing but the seemingly perpetual and endless need to generate money, and at that ever growing amounts of money. A lot of people believe that making money is the only way to solve everything. The more money they make, they think the quicker they can drop off, the quicker they are set for life. But this is a fallacy. This is a myth. That is only a dream. That is not reality. In reality, the more money you make, the more assets and property you own, potentially, the more you're going to have to keep up with that increased amount of stuff. Therefore, the more work for you, more stress, more time away from really the things that you, or most people, value, which are loved ones, family, more time away from the very things that you value doing, such as spending time in whatever else that you like doing, whether it's time with family, time at the park, time outdoors, time at home, time, you fill in the blank. So working and making money, I know it's a sort of a necessity in today's society. We are pretty much forced to work and make money to live. So a lot of us overdo it. A lot of us think this is what life is all about. A lot of us think that this is what we should be doing more and more every time, trying to get more of it, more of it. It's like a race to the top. That's why they call it the rat race. So that same race is what drives a lot of the energy consumption. The more you try to do and produce, the more energy that you will consume. A lot of that energy is waste and wasteful. We are in such a hurry and so desperate to produce more and more that we give very little, if any, thought about the energy and the resources we are using. Some of the resources have become very cheap relatively over the years, so we use and abuse and overuse a lot of it just to generate more money, more funds, more capital. But in reality, generating all that is not going to offset the damages done by the waste that you generate. We think that we are going to make enough money to make up for the damage that we've done, whether it's time away from loved ones, whether it's time away from the things we love. That time, once it's gone, it's gone. You may be able to spend a little time, more time in the future, but you have lost how much time in the past, and that time will never be made up fully. There is no such thing as making up time. Once time is past, time has gone. There is no retrieving that. You may stop wasting so much time away from the things you want to do and be around, and the people you want to be around. You may stop doing it, but you may not retrieve or recover that. So don't think that the money that you will make in the future will in any way offset or repair the damage that you've done by spending time away from the things and people that you really want to spend the time and resources in. Same goes with energy. Once you spend energy, that energy is gone, and the waste and the work produced are the only things that are left. If you produce very little work with that energy that you spend, and a lot of waste is generated, that energy, the one that was used for good and the one that was used for waste, is gone, and the damages caused by the use of that energy are here and are real and are happening. A lot of it, when it deals with fossil fuels, deals with the climate, deals with pollution. I have seen it. I see it every day. I smell it. On busy roads, you can smell the pollution from pipe emissions from vehicles. In factories, you can, choke on the pollution that some of those factories generate. The waste, when it comes to, used oils, used chemicals, used raw materials that are waste, they have to be stored or placed somewhere. That storage costs money. Dumping it is often the preferred method for corporations the world over to handle waste, and wasting it usually brings pollution to the area where that is dumped. Water has a peculiar feature or peculiar capability, and is that it runs downhill. Everywhere in the world it runs towards the lowest point. And rain, when it rains in vast and large areas. It doesn't pick and choose where it's going to fall. Rain falls on waste, rain falls on clear and clean areas. And when it falls on the waste, it will run to the lowest point with that water. That polluted water will run with pollution, with the waste, whatever it is, whether it's chemicals, whether it's bacteria, whether it's debris, chunks of whatever metal or plastics. It will run to the lowest point, where usually the creeks, rivers, lakes, ponds, and freshwater deposits are located. And there goes pollution, not only for us humans, human animals, but for animals. They drink that water, we drink that water, we spend millions of dollars and energy and resources trying to clean that dirty water, and we may not be able to clean all of it. We may not be able to clean it 100%. The threshold, the bar is quite low when it comes to considering the water source clean, and we are willing to sacrifice our health in the name of profits, in the name of making productivity, and we are willing to also sacrifice the very environment that we live in. So here we are, suffering the consequences. In some areas it's not so bad. I don't mind this warm weather this time of year. Approaching the middle of December, I do not mind it at all. However, when severe flooding occurs, when damaging storms come through because of that warm weather, when droughts occur because of other weather events that are unusual but that are more frequent now, we suffer. Nature suffers, the animal life suffers, we all suffer. And in many ways, it is unnecessary. It is unnecessary suffering. And it is something that is totally, or at least in large part, preventable. And it doesn't take one or two people per 1,000, per 10,000 people to take steps to control the effects of climate change. No, it takes an entire population, an entire nation, where a large percentage, most of the people are on board and are acting with this in mind, with the fact that the weather is changing through climate change, with that in mind, with that type of mentality. And not only with the mentality, but also with the will and the education, training capability to take action. It takes a large part of the population again, not just a few people, scattered about the landscape. No, it takes most of us. It will take most of us for our actions to matter, for our actions to have consequences, positive consequences for the environment.